I am going to do a video on Suzuki Violin Book 1 long ago. I'll play through it once and then we can talk about some things to work on. Okay, so first thing you might want to look at is the rhythm. We're mixing quarter notes and eighth notes here, so your rhythm will sound something like this. Ta, ti, ti, ta, ti, ti, ta, ti, ti, ta. And make sure your half note is 2 beats, right? Okay, so the rhythm is pretty repetitive, goes kind of throughout the piece. Another thing we can look at in this song is starting to use fourth finger a little more comfortably, right? So in case we haven't really gone over it before, let's just review fourth finger and what it means. So we're going to work on fourth finger on the A string, all right? If we work our way up, A, B, C, D, fourth finger, we'll play E. And yes, it's the same note as open E. Okay, they should sound the same. They're just 2 different ways to play the same note. Okay, now a lot of people struggle with fourth finger. It's uncomfortable, it's hard to stretch it far enough, so we're going to find some things that can help, okay? So just for some troubleshooting first, I want you to look at your left hand and make sure you're not carrying a pizza, right? Okay, so you can't be bending your wrist. It needs to be a nice straight wrist there, not too far, just straight, okay? Because if you're bending your wrist, it's going to make it harder to reach that fourth finger. Okay, another thing that could help, if your thumb is way up here, okay, that's going to make it hard to reach your fourth finger. So you want to make sure your thumb is just barely peeking over the other side of the violin, okay? And shouldn't be back here. People like to put it back here sometimes. That makes it hard to reach. It should be right across from the first finger, okay? So thumb just peeking over right across from the first finger. Okay, another thing that can help if you're still having trouble reaching your fourth finger is you can bring your elbow a little bit more under the violin, okay? Because if you're out here, I'm exaggerating of course, but it's harder to reach that string. So bring your elbow forward, especially as you go down to the lower strings. You have to bring your elbow way up there so you can practically see it, okay? So that's one thing that can help. Okay, the other thing is that the fourth finger is just a weak little finger, so just like any other muscle in the body, we need to exercise it. We can just do plain old exercises, something like tapping your 4 fingers all together on various strings. You can tap just the fourth finger. Now the trick with this is, of course, don't let your fingers fly away. They kind of need to be hovering near the string. Nice curled fingers. Right? It will also help if you can not have too long of fingernails, okay? Because if they're too long, you're going to be stuck playing like this, and that's going to make it harder to reach that fourth finger too. If you have nice curled fingers, it'll be easier to reach the fourth finger as high as it needs to be. Okay? Another thing you could do is you could practice plucking with your fourth finger. Straightens it a little bit. We like to do elbow harps, where you can just swing your elbow. Okay, and you notice as I'm on the G string, my elbow is way forward, and then it swings just very gently to about here for the E string. Okay, so those are some different ways you can exercise your fourth finger. The other really good way to exercise your fourth finger is just to use it in songs. In the end, it will make playing so much easier for you. It just takes a little work to get there, right? Okay, so back to long ago, this is a good song to try practicing your fourth finger. So if you don't already have it written in, look at the 3rd measure. You could definitely do a fourth finger there, okay, instead of open string. Okay, and if you want to try out your fourth finger, you can check and make sure that it sounds pretty much the same as your open E string. Okay, and you can even leave it down, leave that fourth finger down while you check your open E string. That will show me that you have a really nice curve to your finger and that you've left a tunnel for the E string. Okay, so try that in measure 3. Okay, that's a good time to use fourth finger. Now, granted, you don't need to use fourth finger all the time. I would say maybe every time you're going down from E string, or from E. E, D, C, B, okay? Other times you're going up to it, so don't worry about it then, okay? But just when you're coming down, so like in the third measure of each line, you do that, right? Okay, now let's look down at the third line. You've got a little string crossing to work on there, right? If you need to, pause, roll your bow over, get your finger set. Okay, and then before you go back, get your third finger set and roll your bow over. Okay, now of course that's just for practice. When you put it all together, there won't be any pauses put in. Okay, hopefully that answers some of your questions about long ago. I'm going to go play it again one more time at a much slower tempo in case you want to try playing with me. If you don't, farewell for now.